Yes, friends, festive season is coming and Budgie Smuggler has a special offer for all Dylan's friends family for their custom bucket hats. They'll make it for you here in Australia. A pack of custom hats with no setup fee, which is normally $100. And our friends at Budgie Smuggler are going to do them for $50 a piece with a minimum order of just 4. So they'll be a great hit as an Xmas gift or when you next hit the festival with your friends. You can add photos, your team colours, absolutely anything you want. Go wild and make them absolutely swaggy AF. Just go to the custom section of the Budgie Smuggler website and they'll look after you there. Offer runs till the 15th of October, so get there quick. budgiesmuggler.com.au and make sure you drop the code DIL and friends. ILYXX, get in there now, fam. Yoo-hoo.
H-Man, how are you?
I'm good, thanks, mate.
Mate, good to see you, my boy.
Finally. It's been a little while.
Jeez, you're a big boy. I always forget how big you are when I see you up close.
I'm still growing, I reckon, as well.
You're not still
I
growing.
might be. They reckon you grow until you're 25. So.
Oh, I don't think so. Mate, firstly, congratulations.
Thank you,
7-year deal.
Yeah. It's a long time.
It's a long time.
It is. It's great to get it done, but yeah, I didn't really realise, obviously, talking through it, and then it wasn't until it got sent through and it said 2030, our contract was sent until 2030, I was like, it's the next decade. It's a long time.
Mate, it's longer than you are in school. So from year 7 to year 12, it's more years. It's like going to school again.
Yeah, it's a lot. And this is my 7th year. I just finished my 7th year, so it's doing all that again, plus a bit more maybe. So it's a long time, mate. But yeah, it's awesome to get it done, and yeah, it was really easy to do with the club, so it makes it easier.
It does.
Sure.
It does. We'll get off the AFL 360 talk in a moment, but it was interesting because I remember just the Carlton fan in me now is like, you want to lock in these guys. So we locked in, Cripper, locked in Charlie, locked in, who else recently? There's been a heap.
Sam Walsh,
Walshy,
Weeders.
Well, yeah.
So
everyone's locked in. And then you were the only one. Everyone's going, fucking hell, this is going to be, might be a big year. You could have left it play out to next year and it becomes a bit of a thing. Was that weighing in your mind or did you just want to get something done ASAP?
No, not at all, to be honest. So my personality, I'm pretty laid back, all that stuff.
Yeah.
In terms of motivation and drive, that was the furthest thing from my mind. I was literally just get through the season. Obviously, we wanted to make finals, and everything was pretty full on there. And then it's more just background talk with everyone in the media, and you know what it's like. Sometimes they beat it up. So then, the season finished, and after that, I was pretty keen just to get it all done. And I think once you know where you want to be for long term, it's pretty easy just to get it all done. But probably 12 months ago, it was. We just had our third coach in 6 years, new CEO, new president, new everything. It's like, all right, is this environment going to be really good for my next 7-8 years?
Yeah.
But once the new guys came in and that was all ticked off, that was probably the only question. And the year we had, even though we didn't make finals, it was we improved a lot in some certain areas. So once that was all ticked off, mate, it was pretty straightforward. And always wanted to play my footy at Carlton. So, it's pretty cool to get it done.
It's awesome, man. Well done again. I'm absolutely wrapped, not just as a friend, but also just as a fan of the club now. It's good to see. It's so exciting. I was even thinking about this the other day and, again, very top-line chat, but as just, mates talking about this, you must be excited thinking, of the team you've got over the next period. You had 4 All-Australians this year. You had Cripper winning the Brownlow. You won the Coleman last year. Charlie won it this year. Sam Doherty misses out on even the squad. It's it's a pretty exciting time to be, at the footy club, really.
Yeah, it really is. And obviously you have to say that as a player, but I think of it, look at it from a mutual point of view. A lot of guys in that window of 24 to 28, playing your best footy and going to be together for quite a long time. It's really exciting. And I think a lot of guys had individual success over the last probably couple of years, which I think is great in terms of establishing yourself as a top line AFL player and a really consistent player. And then I think once you've ticked that box, your pure focus is team success. Not that it's not always front of mind, but I think a lot of guys are really hungry for that ultimate success now, which is really cool. So it's a great place to be. You know what it's like. Carlton fans are pretty crazy and up and about. So this year was another level to what I've experienced, and just can't imagine what it's going to be like when we play finals. Hopefully, touch wood.
Yeah. What was it like in the last? Because I suppose when we first met, so we first met at Carlton, obviously, and I reckon I would have maybe been in my 3rd year, and when you came into your first, it was a pretty weird time at the club, and then since till pretty much this year, it's been it has been a pretty difficult place to be, and that's not saying just Carlton, but any club that's not winning. And when you're a big club, expectations, what was it like? What's the challenge been like for you until this season, and what do you think's changed?
Yeah, good question. I thought you were going to ask our first encounter.
Okay. Oh, yeah. Well, what's that?
No, the one that comes to mind, you're not going to like this. But
Oh, no.
I reckon it was my first week or two at the club when we had pre-season training and we were doing like a 4v4 handball drill. You were wearing the bib, you know, where you wear the bibs, obviously.
Well, it must have been in the second team.
Yeah, in the twos. No, I was in the twos as well. Yeah. And I reckon I tackled you. You probably tried to take me on or something. And I tackled you. And you know when you have the bib, like you can be stupid and like sling them down to the ground, or you can kind of like protect them a little bit.
Yeah.
So I reckon I had you by the bib and kind of gently put you to the ground. And then you got up and you were like, what are you doing, mate? It's pre-season, it's summer, like lean off me. And I was like in my first year, I was like so ratted. I was like, is this what happens at training? Like, and obviously you're just a competitive bugger, but so that's probably the first memory of you, mate.
Well, in saying that, you know, like I think that it shows you in better light than me. I was cracking it at you at training and you're the one trying to train hard. So I think there's no reason why you're a Coleman medalist now and I'm sitting on this end of the line.
I didn't mind it, mate. Competitiveness is a good thing. Yeah. So, but obviously a lot's changed since you've been at the club in my 7 years. I think, as I mentioned before, we've had 3 coaches, a lot of different guys in roles, but I think the main thing that's changed is probably the environment and culture. It's not like there was never great blokes at the footy club. I reckon we always had really good people, but I think the ability for everyone to get the best out of themselves and celebrate that now. So I reckon when I was first at the club, it was nearly not cool to enjoy footy. And I remember you do stuff in my first year as well. Like I was always big on just doing extra touch and stuff, and you'd nearly like people would take the piss nearly because you were trying to do something a bit abnormal and get the best out of yourself. But now it's like really celebrated. Pros are kind of cool. It's cool to be a professional. So that's taken some big leaps over the last couple of years, and it'll only get better. But in my opinion, that's probably the number one thing from like a culture environment point of view.
Mate, that is so well articulated, and I have to totally jump in and be like, that's crazy, because I when you said it, I nearly got goosebumps because it took me back to that time. And I think one, of being like a young kid and feeling that pressure as well, but then I reckon nearly even being a part of the problem. When towards my end, if I was in like a shit mood or negative, like I would 100% seen you being like, oh fuck, this guy is trying to be too cool. And I think we can all fall into that trap sometimes when you get in that space. But from what I've heard, you know, that really has been stamped out, and it's a really, really good point. Yeah,
well, I think it's like if the weight of numbers are in that camp of it's not cool to be like and take the piss out of everything, then if you're a young kid walking in or you're on the fence, you're going to go to the numbers. So then I guess by personnel changes and environment change, if the numbers are now in the, all right, it's cool to be professional, let's work really hard, get the best out of yourselves. A young kid walks in and sees 90% of the list doing that. It's like, all right, well, I have to go to the 90%.
Yeah.
Which has been a big change, which is awesome.
That's really cool, mate. It's awesome that you've even that's something that you've really picked up, because I'm not at the club anymore, but I think, you know, not even fans, but just people would be really impressed that that's what's going on. Because I tell you, that's not even a footy club thing, man. That's just like a life thing. That's a friendship group thing. It's like you are who you surround yourself with. You are who, you know, you are like the closest reflection of the 5 people around you, as they say, not just in life and in business and work and footy. And it's like, if you want to be good, you got to be around good people. And I think it's just not harping on it and knocking Carlton back in the day and whoever was there, but it wasn't one person. It was just a system that no one felt safe. And there were so many coaching changes, so many different things going on, that every player was just fighting for themselves to be in that position. But then you get a bit more comfortable, as you said, people actually start celebrating like, cool, it's cool to work hard. It's really interesting. It's a really interesting take.
Yeah, and I don't think it ever came from a bad place.
No.
It was like, it's just when you're young, you come in, you're insecure, you're uncomfortable, and it's like, all right, I want to be fit in, I want to be safe, psychologically safe. So then you go, all right, I'm going to do what everyone else is doing to be safe. And as I said, when the weight of numbers are in that camp, then it's probably going to struggle a little bit. Yeah.
Did you struggle with that? And this is probably a loaded question. How do you think you were in your first couple of years with that? Do you think you fell into a bit of a try and just fit in versus try and perform?
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, obviously, you'd know because we were there, but I think walking in I was 17 when I walked in, and you nearly it's hard. It's nearly you're trying to be someone you're not, just fit in, and it's definitely challenging when you're young and you walk into a football club with 40 other guys, and obviously a lot of opinions are made pretty early on. But definitely for my first 2 years, I always look back and think. So one regret I probably have is I'd love my first 2 years again, but then also I'm like, probably not the person I am today and know what I know and have theories on what I do if I didn't have those first couple of years. So it's chicken and the egg, but definitely a tough couple of years in terms of, and it's definitely on me as well. But as a young kid walking in, it can be challenging, I reckon, and definitely like some things back. But as I said, you can't do that, and it probably makes you who you are now. So
yeah, it's a great answer. What was like a pivotal moment for you? Like, when did you click and be like, all right, fuck it, it's not about fitting in, it's about like being the best I can be, or forgetting what other people thought and just be like, fuck this?
Yeah, probably not. I don't think if it was a kind of a key moment, but I think after a couple of years, because I'd look at even other guys I got drafted with, like say Charlie and Jack Savani Sauce, and just see like how they got along with the group and how kind of they were mates with everyone. And so instead of thinking about knowing that I was different and not going to be like them, I was like, all right, I've got to try and be like that and fit in with everyone, try and be mates with everyone. And then if I wasn't mates with everyone, it was like, or best mates with everyone, it was nearly like, oh, what am I doing wrong? Like, what's wrong with me? I'm not best mates with everyone. But then, it's not until you probably get a little bit older and have a couple of years in the system where you realise everyone gets along really well. You're going to have your probably 5 or 6 guys that you're really close with at the club. But as long as you have healthy working professional relationships with everyone, then that's the main thing. So probably after 2 years, I reckon that clicked.
Yeah.
And then it could probably more lean towards, I'm going to try and get the best out of myself, really improve my football. But yeah, it took a while, mate, definitely.
Yeah, I think every young player that's coming through, boys and girls, are listening to this, like, this is it's such an incredible chat. I don't think we've ever had someone articulate it so well, because what you're saying around being liked versus being respected, and I think I speak about, but it's a bit different when it comes to you, because you've been, you were in it earlier than I have now. It's not what I'm trying to say. I'm trying to say you've experienced more recently, yes.
Got there.
And you've probably come through the other end and actually started performing through it. But at the end of the day, you realise very quickly when you start growing up, like, people, it's all well good to be liked, but like at the end of the day, when the shit hits a fan and it's grand final day, or it's something going on in someone's life, they go to the people that actually they respect the most, and that's that's actually what you enjoy. So for me now, knowing what I know, because I had a very similar pathway into you, all I wanted to do was be liked by people and fit in, and did shit that weren't across my values or anything like that. But now it's like I don't want to be that guy. I want to be the guy that people come to when they have a problem or they need honest feedback, or I can help them, support them in some way.
Yeah.
Which is cool.
Yeah, 1,000%. And then that's why like the environment is really important in that. So if the environment celebrates those type of guys, and you're respected for who you are, as you said, there's going to be so many different people and personalities in a footy club, but if you can respect those guys, that's them, which is awesome. We celebrate that. We love that. And then everyone can be themselves and be comfortable, which is what's really improved.
Huge. Love it. Hey, let's go back. We've jumped way ahead, but I love where we're going. Take us back to Warragul, man. God's country. Wazza. Now, there's a statue there of you that you keep saying. I haven't seen it yet.
I always try and tell people if they can give it a quick polish when they drive past, that'd be good. But I haven't seen it either, but I hear it is down there.
What was it like growing up in Warragul? I was actually down there recently. Nicky Graham, one of our mutual friends, plays down at Warragul. I think he did.
Yeah, he did.
What was it like growing up in the Gippy?
Yeah, it was good, mate. So we originally grew up in Longwarry, which is 20 minutes closer to the city than Warragul. Not much going on in Longwarry, mate.
Yeah.
But we had 12 acres and a house there. So I'm one of 4, so we had a solid family growing up.
Is it how many? Like 2 boys? 2.
So I got a younger brother Charlie, older sister Hannah, and my twin Ben.
Yeah.
So it was a pretty busy household. But with having 12 acres, we had there's a dad pretty early on put up like footy posts in the backyard, so we had footy to play. We had like a cricket set up in the front yard, and then we had like a basketball ring. So we were always outside playing footy and sport, which was pretty cool. And it got pretty heated, mate, with my brother, and it's probably where it all started, like being competitive and playing footy. But it was a pretty cool place to grow up. And then when I was 12, 13, we moved to Warragul because school and footy was everything there. So used to share a room. So Charlie, Ben, and I all shared a room along Warri, and then we moved to Warragul and we all got our own room, which was nice as we got a bit older. So it was a pretty cool place to grow up. I recommend it. Not sure I'll be going back to live anytime soon, Dill, but
never say never.
It was it's a good place to grow up.
Talk us through the competitiveness. I'd love to hear this. I think everyone would of what was going on in the antics. One story in particular that keeps coming up. I don't know if you've told this before, but is there something involving a steak knife?
There is. I've still got scars on my hand from it. So this is when we were in I'm not sure if I've told this. This is when we were in Longwarry. So we had Mum just cooked like I think she bought it from Coles, but it was just like a meat pie with veggies or whatever. And we just had this little table and we're sitting there eating, and just to muck around, we had steak knives, right, as you have with a pie. And just to be a nuisance, I got my steak knife and just stabbed Ben's pie. I was sitting next to him and just stabbed his pie, just to muck around, a bit of fun at dinner table.
Yeah, harmless fun.
Yeah. And then knowing Ben, he was going to retaliate, so I put my hand, hovered my hand over my pie, knowing he was going to come back, and he got the steak knife and went straight through my hand, trying to get to the pie, I think, but yeah, straight through my hand, and still got a big nice little scar in my hand.
To actually go through your hand?
Yeah, and I remember just staring at it, I had this massive hole in my hand and blood started pissing out. I was like, what is going on? So, yeah, it was pretty funny. So I hope to think that he didn't see my hand there, but part of me thinks he didn't care anyway. He said, yeah, you touched my pie, bad luck.
Is that as heated as they got? Like what? How often?
That's right down the bottom, I reckon.
Really?
Yeah. No, yeah. I can't even remember all the fights, mate. There's been some full-on ones. I don't know if you got on there, but more recently, when we were young, we used to always fight. Like we'd play footy, we'd punch on, come in 5 minutes later, best mates, no worries. I feel sorry for my parents because it would have been annoying.
Yeah.
Trying to split us up the whole time. But yeah, that was kind of normal. And then as we got a bit older, they probably got a bit more heated and a bit more full on. And as you get a bit bigger, you can probably do a bit more damage with a punch. But I think another one, I don't know if you got it there, but draft day, so we're driving to the airport because the draft was in Adelaide, right? Driving to the airport, and we used to have a 7-seater because there was quite a few of us. I think Ben was sitting in front and I was behind him, and just to annoy him, I think I was just like flicking him in the ear, just like hitting him in the head just to annoy him. I don't know, you know what you like. And he didn't respond, he didn't really do anything. And then we got out of the car and I was just about to get my bag, just to the luggage, and turn around and Ben just goes whack and punches me straight in the nose out of nowhere. I had a massive blood nose for the draft, and yeah, that was pretty fun. So obviously the lesson there, don't annoy him and don't flick him in the ear.
It sounds like, to be honest, at this stage, Ben's actually sort of got it over you, if I'm being completely honest. He stabbed you and physically assaulted you as well.
Yeah, correct. So he should be in jail, mate. Well, I think I just picked my time and place. I didn't want to retaliate there. A couple of years ago, we were probably 19, 20. We went to Top Golf in Queensland just with a mate of ours. And, yeah, we're giving each other a bit of shit just of our golf swings and whatnot, as you do. And I was going pretty hard at him, I think, because he was hitting a few poor shots. And, yeah, so he's getting a bit frustrated from that. And so I think I was just going up to take one of my last swings, and then out of nowhere, Ben just comes up and just king hits me in the back of the head, like right in and I was filthy. I was so angry. Pretty ordinary thing to do. I'm not condoning this, by the way.
Yeah, by the way, Ben, we got to get him on. I feel he needs to have a right of rebuttal, maybe on your own podcast, very coming soon.
Maybe.
That's double assault, and a stabbing is quite severe.
But then, so I'm seeing red at this stage, and just as that happened, the bloke was coming around to pay the bill, and I think we're just splitting it. So I had to bite my lip and go and pay the bill. And I was fuming, so I stormed out of there because I was just going to wait for him at the front and yep, say good day to him there. And Ben, knowing me, he knows that I was going to retaliate. So we had a couple of beers, right?
Yeah.
And I think we were just drinking Coronas, and he took one of the empty Corona bottles out to try and sneak it out, and he walks by security, and bloke's like, mate, what are you doing? You can't take a beer bottle out here. So he was obviously fearing for his life a little bit. And then he got out the front of Gold Coast, front of Top Golf, and we're just punching on in the middle of Top Golf. And these blokes walk past trying to thinking it was a fight, trying to break it up. And my mate was like, don't worry, mate, they're just brothers. Let them go at it. And then we were staying in Byron, so we had to drive an hour and a half back to Byron. It was a pretty icy trip back. But yeah, there's been a few over the years, mate, but kind of all in good humour, I guess.
I've got a sister that beats the shit out of me, to be honest, and I can imagine. But it's funny how when it is a sibling, you can fight, and then 2 seconds later, it's just back to normal.
Yeah, 100%. And then it's always like you're happy to fight your sibling, but if someone else joined in, you'd be like the first to be protective. But yeah, it's all good fun, mate.
How look, I know there's a running gag that it gets played a lot that you guys don't exist together, or it's only one person.
Yeah.
It is weird that you haven't played together though, isn't it? Like against each other.
Yeah, it is weird.
7 years in the system, and we play a team two times a year, even in the VFL.
So we have played each other in the VFL.
Yeah.
You probably would have been playing that day, mate. I
reckon I probably was, yeah. I used to put them right where you like them.
At my toes, I think. Still got a sore back from all those kicks, mate. No, so we were playing VFL one day, and Ben was playing back line. I was playing forward line. So it was the first time we played against each other, and Jed Lamb was playing as well, and getting into Ben a bit, and I kicked a goal in the first quarter, and as you do after a goal, you get into them, and so Ben and I both wear contact lenses, so we're blind as a bat without them. So during the scuffle just before quarter time, Lammy accidentally poked Ben in the eye and poked one of his contact lenses out, and the ball went back to the middle, and I remember Ben said, he's like, I've just lost my contact lens, and I was like, righto, and he's like, I haven't got a spare one in my bag, so you always bring a couple of spares in your bag just in case it happens. He's like, I haven't got a spare one, like, and he was really panicking. He's like, do you reckon I could borrow one of yours? Did you bring a spare one in your bag? And I was like, this could go two ways here. I could say no and probably kick 10 on him, because if you don't have another contact, you're in trouble. Or I could be a good bloke and go and get the other one. So the quarter time siren went, and I rushed off to my bag and got a contact lens, and we kind of both, it would have looked really weird. We were both kind of hanging out in the rooms, and I just gave him like a little contact lens.
That's beautiful.
And I still remember my grandma, of all the things we've done in footy, I think that was the most proud she's ever been, that I actually gave him a contact lens. And,
that's beautiful.
So we have played against each other once.
There you go. Not in the AFL. Is there an urge to ever want to play together? Like, is that something you'd like to? It's going to be hard for you to leave, but would you like to see Benny at the Blues one day?
It's a good question. To be serious for a second, it'd be tough. So when we were getting drafted, so I kept bringing back everything to our childhood, but when we got drafted, we had lots of interviews with clubs and everything, and they would often say, like, do you guys want to play together, or do you want to take us, like, go separately or whatever? And we'd always said we want to go separately, because as a twin for 18 years, you do everything together. You're always, when they say Harry, they say Ben. You do everything together. You're nearly seen as one kind of entity, and especially Ben, I think it kind of really annoyed him more than anything. So I think we're pretty keen to go our separate ways. I remember Carlton, they came over and said, we would like to take both of you, and we said, no, don't take us. And then I think they were going to do it on draft night, but North Melbourne picked Ben just a couple of picks before Carlton. But so we're pretty happy early days to not play together and do our own thing, forge our own path. But being a bit more mature now, I think it would be kind of cool to a degree, but there'd definitely be a lot of fights at training. But who knows, one day, I think, as I said, you get a bit older, and kind of to have success with a family member would be cool. But it would have to be Ben coming to Carlton, because I just signed my life away. So. Yeah. That's
unreal. No, it's a good answer. It's really interesting that, I think that it makes sense. It definitely makes sense. But you think that, I don't know, every sort of gimmicky story would be like, oh, how good would it be to get the brothers together? But to hear that you guys were like, no, we want to do our own thing. It's actually super interesting.
Yeah.
Talking of your footy, okay, so obviously when I saw you coming through, big boy, incredible kick and great skills. We back in the day would hate to pump you up, but now we're embracing the love for each other, one way anyway. You've come leaps and bounds. It's honestly been a pleasure watching you develop, because when we were playing, I think that your big boy took a long time, not a long time, but you had to earn your keep, and the team wasn't good enough to really even for you to play in to actually get the ball down to you. So there's a lot of time we had to sort of develop and go your way. What was, I suppose, is there a short answer in this of like how you got the confidence in yourself to start playing consistently at the top level?
Yeah, definitely. I reckon there's probably a key moment, and it was midway through 2018. I don't think I debuted. I played 2 games the year before at the end of the season, just kind of give me games, and started off 2018 in the 2s, and then had 3 or 4 games in the AFL after that, but wasn't playing great. The team wasn't going great. Got dropped back to the 2s, and as much as anything, just really probably struggled mentally, like even just going to training, like anxiety, really anxious. I remember I went home, so this is when Mum and Dad were still in Warragul, and I just went home to say good day for a night or whatever. And I remember Mum said, "You're just not yourself at the moment. You're just not Harry." And she's like, "I think you should maybe see someone and get some help." And that was pretty. I was like, "That's pretty full on." Like for someone to know you so well and be like, "You're just not yourself." it was pretty powerful. So after that, I went and saw a sports psychologist, Jackie Lauder. Shout out to Jackie. She works at Coleman now, I'm pretty sure. And yeah, so basically went and saw her for a few times and to start to get the ball rolling. And as much as anything, it was just kind of debunking some anxiety stuff and working through kind of a bit of a plan to, one, just feel a bit more confident, a bit more happy with everything, and then two, how that will translate to a footy point of view.
Yeah.
And whether it was that or just circumstantial, like a couple of weeks later, I remember I got picked in the ones, and after that, I think we had 7 or 8 games left in the year and managed to hold my spot for 7 games. And yeah, I played some consistent enough footy, and I think it was just admitting that you needed a bit of help to start was really beneficial for me. And then that kind of springboarded into a good summer, and then 2019, and since then kind of been consistently in the team. But yeah, that was probably the moment where I put my hand on my tail, I reckon I need a bit of help and want to try and get the best out of myself. And as I said, I'm not sure exactly if the stars align, but it was just one of those things that has really helped me since then.
No, it's awesome. I really appreciate you sharing that. I had no idea. If you don't mind me asking on that, so when you were saying you probably weren't feeling yourself, do you think that was like, and you went and saw a sports psychologist, do you think that you went there thinking, okay, this is about footy, and was it about footy, or was it more just like you wanted to be more of a better person in general, then that made you play footy better, if that makes sense?
Yeah, no, good question. I think a lot of young footballers, like their identity is attached to how they go on the footy field, and right, wrong and different, that's what happens. And a lot of people talk about you have to split your identity, which I completely agree. But the reality is while you're playing footy, your identity is very closely attached to what you do on the footy field. So I think I went from more of a footy point of view because footy is so much of your life. Like if you're going to training, games, and you're just really uncomfortable and anxious all the time, that's 80% of your life. You're anxious. So it probably meant it came in from more of a footy point of view, and but I think you get some frameworks and some things to work through that helps not only with footy but with life as well. And it was just kind of refining some confidence and a few triggers and a few things to do to help get the best of myself. And it was a really awesome experience.
What were the main takeaways? Like, was there something that really stood out that you went through?
A few things I really liked and still kind of think about today is you used to always talk about just like be where your feet are, which is I think you obviously talk about it a lot, but not overplaying things too far ahead.
Explain that though, what it means.
Yeah,
to
so
you,
it's just like, say in the past you'd always be thinking, all right, I got training tomorrow. What if I stuff up at training? What if I don't do this? But reality is you're at dinner with your family, just be there and just enjoy the moment and not think too far ahead. Be where your feet are, not where your mind is. So, I think that's a really good one that you can still carry into today. It was more just probably putting in a plan to, step out of your comfort zone a little bit and try some things and be like, all right, this is the plan. So we're going to do this, and just commit to that for a little while. But as I said before, I think the biggest thing was putting your hand up, admitting that you needed help. And as a guy, you always think you're invincible and you think you've got it all sorted out, but to kind of take the ego away and say, all right, I need a bit of help here, that was probably just a spark that I really needed, I reckon.
That's huge, man. I imagine then, with one thing that I was always thinking too, from an outside perspective, knowing you, without knowing that, but when you started playing really good footy and then you went through the stage of started doing snaps for goals, which, now you still do, and you're kicking the ball really well in that position. Was that a tough period going I want to stick to doing this without listening to what other people are saying? Yeah.
So it's a little bit on the psych stuff as well. So into 2020 hub season, it's fun. I was playing some pretty solid footy, getting a lot of shots on goal, marking the ball well, but I was just missing so many, man. I was kicking 1 goal 5, 1 goal 4, and quite a few weeks in a row. And I was like, one, I'm hurting the team here. This is killing me. I feel like everyone's looking at me thinking, man, if you had a kick straight, we might have won. Not that I was saying that, but you just feel like that. And two, I just knew that I was pretty close to playing some really good footy, but I just, if nothing else changed, but I had a kick straight, I walk away being in the top 5 players on the ground. And that was really frustrating. So I remember as soon as the last game finished, so Ben had seen Jamie for a little bit. So Jamie Glazier, sports psych, works a lot with golfers. He'd worked with him probably a year or two earlier, and remember he spoke really highly of him. And I think, that next couple of days, just messaged him straight away and saying, mate, I want to work on my goal kicking and the mental side of things because I'm sick of it. I'm bloody sick of it, like sick of missing. So over that summer, 20 to 21, did a lot of mindset work around goal kicking. And biggest thing I learned, and probably the biggest thing that was holding me back, was like fear of failure. So being a bit of a perfectionist, you go in thinking, I want to kick every goal here. I remember he asked me that. He's like, how often do you go into a game thinking you're going to hit every kick every goal, not make a mistake? And I'm like, every game I'd go in thinking I'm not going to make a mistake or not miss. And then he's like, so as soon as if you miss the first one, you're just so flat on yourself because you expect it to be perfect and you're not. And then I was kind of just downhill from there. So the biggest thing that changed for me was just allowing myself to fail. And I went through even a period there. I don't know how this will come across, but at the top of my mark, basically saying it's okay to miss. It's all right. It's all right to miss. Like, I don't want to miss, but it's okay to miss. And just that kind of gives you a bit of deep shoulders down a little bit, relax a little bit, and actually gives you the best chance to kick the goal. So it's coming from a really good place because you want to score, you want to kick the goal, you want to help the team, but attaching too much emotion and to that outcome is actually detrimental. So coming back and being in the moment a little bit and thinking that it's all right to miss was a really big catalyst. Sorry, that was not answering your question at all.
No, what? That was way better than what it was. Yeah.
In terms of the actual snapping bit, so
I want to just touch on that quickly because I still think to this day, like, we still don't know how to, like, it's not mastered, is it? Like, everyone just has to work out what's best for them for goal kicking, and it shitted me so much. Sometimes when we're playing footy, I was like, get your routine. It's like, what the fuck even is that? Like, you got to work out what's best for you. You can't tell me to do 6 steps and 6 jogs and follow through 3 steps. That doesn't work for me. So, like, I don't know what it is. So I just think it's a really interesting point that you just made. Yeah,
absolutely. Yeah, everyone's different with the routine for sure. But going back to the snapping, so it was again late 2020, and as I was saying, I was getting a heap of shots but just missing. And I think we were playing Sydney up in the hub, and I was just like, I'm so sick of missing. And then I just got the ball on that left-hand side and just randomly just rolled and just like snapped it, and it went in. I was like, that was good. Like, not sure what I was thinking there, but did it. And then got a shot later on that day as well, and did the same thing, just snapped and rolled and kicked the goal. And I walked away thinking, that wouldn't have looked great, but I walked away kicking 2 or 3 instead of 0. So whatever. And then I think we had 2 games left for that year, and same thing happened. As soon as if I marked on the other side, I was like, I'm just going to roll and snap it, like, whatever. I don't really care. Like, however it looks, if I can walk away with a goal or 2 that I wouldn't have kicked, then perfect. And that's kind of where it all started. So that was very rushed, and there was no routine behind it. It was just kind of get the ball, if no one's there, roll and snap and kick a goal. Then going back to Jamie a little bit, we worked. I said that to him. I was like, it was actually like fun, kind of snapping the ball, like just rolling. It was a bit exhilarating. Like, it was kind of fun. And he said, like, talked about left side of the brain and right side of the brain, and when you were snapping, it kind of taps into the creative side of the brain. That's why it's kind of enjoyable, and you actually kick better. So then over that summer, I spent a lot of time actually developing a routine with your snap, because one thing I see now with modern football is a lot of people that snap the ball, which I'm all for, but the ones that look great, don't look great and get in trouble is when they just roll without having a routine, and then it looks really bad, which I can completely get. But so as long as I took that away and had a set routine that I was going to do every time, I was really comfortable with doing it. And because I knew I was getting good results for it, I never really listened to what everyone else was talking about it. And the only time, like, if you look at it from a stats point of view, I think I was 80 or 90% from 30 to goal from that side snapping the ball, but it's just the one that you miss that looks really bad. So if you hit the ball and it goes the other way, it's like, why is he snapping it? What a loser. Like, what's he doing? So because I knew like 99% of them I was hitting them well, like I'd live with one that didn't look great.
Yeah. Mate, I'm not surprised by this, but like, I'm really impressed, I suppose, because I knew how much you think about your game. I know how much you love, like, footy and developing and how competitive you are. But I think one thing today, chatting to you now, is just like how much you've grown and how much you are invested in the mental side of the game. Like, it must be nearly the most important thing for you now, is it? Like, is that, like, you just love that side of it?
Yeah, I think as we were talking about before, so I feel like I've grown a lot in 5, 6, 7 years, and that's why I've been speaking to a few people that I'd known in my first year that wouldn't be just comment. They'll be like, oh, that's interesting that you think like that now. And
Yeah.
so I've definitely developed a lot of that. But I think it's so important. And you speak to some of the best guys, like Cripper, for example. He's so big on it. Like, and I'm by far not mastered it at all. Like, I've still got a lot of work to do on it. But I still think as an industry, it's really untapped. And at this stage, if you're an AFL footballer and you're not investing something into your mindset, then you're falling behind. So it's really important.
Is it important for you as well to, because I think Chris Judd actually said this once, and I don't know if you crossed over with him when you were playing. Did you? Did you have Juddy for a year?
No, I didn't.
You didn't? No, it's weird. People ask me if I played with like Brendan Favola, and I'm like, no, I didn't, man. He's like 10 years older than me. But you forget at that time. But he was saying that, and something that you've picked up without even hearing this probably, is like, you've got to be doing something outside of the club or seeking someone else's opinion outside of the club than just the people within the four walls. Like, that is great, and the people there, you trust them, but it's almost like the edge that you get from seeing someone outside of it, whether that be Jackie or Jamie or something else, is where you're going to really get those gains.
Yeah, I'd swear by it. I think we talk about, so everyone, all 45 players do the program, and the club is fantastic. Like, the facilities, resources you have at the club, unbelievable. And the people in those four walls are awesome, always want to help you, but the program they set is for everyone. So that's just the program, right? So if you're doing that, you're going to be as good as everyone else, right? So I guess the theory is to go and be better than that, you have to go and do something extra, right? And I've always found that seeing someone external from the club, one, it's nice to get away from the four walls that you see every day and work with someone that's kind of not purely Carlton based. Two, I think you feel, and again, I don't know how this will sound, but you really feel like you're owed something if you're going out of your way, out of your own pocket, paying for a service or an avenue to get better. You feel like you're owed something. Again, I don't know how that'll sound, but
I think I know. I think like you owe something to yourself because you're putting in so much more effort.
Exactly right.
Like you're investing actually in yourself.
Yeah, and Jack Russell talks about it a lot. He's like, in those kind of crunch moments, if you've done everything you can, you owe it to yourself to perform well in those moments, and subconsciously it just happens. So, it's I think it's really important. Again, nothing away from the club, like they're awesome, but I think to get the very, very best out of yourself, you got to always be looking at different avenues to get better. And they can be a bit quirky and a bit different, but just having a go at something and exploring, it's massive. Even little things like just working with a dietitian off your own bat. Shout out to Michelle Reeves, she's awesome. But just like, you wouldn't even obviously nutrition's important and you have an awesome dietitian at the club, but just kind of looking at a different lens, how you can like improve your eating in the off season or how it impacts game day. Just like a little thing, might only be 2 or 3%, but it's really beneficial. Yeah. So,
serious question.
Yeah.
Who's your all-time favourite person? If someone has to deliver the pill to you, out of the centre. Now, I'm not alluding to myself at all because that was a joke that we used to have. If someone's kicking out of the centre square to you coming out, who's your favourite person to deliver you the ball?
Current or all time? Maybe we'll do both. We'll do both. All time, I reckon Mark Murphy. Murphy was just a beautiful kick of the ball. As a forward, you have some guys that like
they want to drill it at
on
you,
paper are a beautiful kick that, and like you'd see like this 40-minute dart. You think, wow, that's a great kick. But as a forward, you don't want to necessarily an absolute dart at you because you have to like obviously mark it. Yeah. And when it's a dart, it makes it hard. So Murph just had this awesome ability to just kind of, the weighted ball was perfect, and always kind of I enjoy coming at the leg a little bit, and he always just dropped it in front of you, and it was a beautiful kick to lead to Murph. So he'll be number one. These days, probably a few. I feel I have like a good connection with Walshy. He kicks the ball well to me. Zach Fisher as well. And then some of our halfbacks like Sardi and Newey and Sam Doherty, they always kick the ball pretty well as well.
Speaking of other teammates now, like what do you love about playing with Charlie? And what's that? Because, he hasn't, like I think we forget how dire that situation was. Like, it was a chance that he was like not going to play anymore, and we've just totally forgotten that this guy has come off like 3 years of not playing footy.
Absolutely, yeah. And I don't know if he's got enough credit, to be honest.
I don't think he has.
It's amazing.
As a teammate, maybe even like talk to the extent of how like that was maybe even the 4 walls. Did you think there was like time where he might not have even like played?
Yeah, like you always want to hope the best for people, but there was definitely times where a few boys would think like, gee, that's serious injury, and that's going to
Another
take
setback.
Yeah, like you'd hear a surgery again on something that didn't work, and you just think like, gee, it's going to be tough to come back from. And there was always questions from people about like, because you watched Charlie in 2018, 2017, and he moved so well, and he's so like athletic, and people, maybe not inside the club, but people would say like, I wonder if he's going to be the same athlete. And as I said, I don't think he's got enough credit for what he's done. So like to have a All-Australian Coleman medal year after not playing for the best part of 2.5, 3 years, it's crazy, like crazy. So I love playing with Charlie. He's we're very different, probably two ends of the spectrum, and I actually think that's what makes us pretty good together. So Charlie's very, he's very energetic, kind of a bit erratic. I'd love to know what's going on inside his head sometimes.
Free thinker.
Yeah, free thinker. But he's just a freak athlete, and just a freak with some of the stuff he does. And as I said, we're very different, but I think that relationship works because of it to a degree. Yeah. And I've loved playing with him. He's so energetic, and there's nothing louder than when Charlie kicks a goal or takes a big mark. First of all, I'm just wrapped that he's, as a mate, to be able to do what he's done. But then, as a partner in the forward line, it's been so fun.
So good. A little bit again, speak like off topic, and I think it'd be worth mentioning this because of the changes that have come in. But like I've been really lucky to be invited back to the club and seen like the changes, and I'm not in the four walls by no means at all anymore, and it's very easy for me to make judgment on these people, but like seeing just like the culture of the club being invited back into like golf days and fucking events, and like they inviting back like a 40 gamer to be a part of it, like Michael Voss, Luke Power, Ash Nolte, Ash Hansen, like the coaching staff and support staff, like Lil O'Sullivan, like these people at the club, and a lot of people haven't, but the people at the club seem just like on another level.
Absolutely, yeah. And I think I've spoken previously before about having really good people in key roles is just so important. And all those people you mentioned there, plus several others, have done an amazing job. And I think the club's been, it's funny you say that about inviting you back to the club and golf days. It's been a massive emphasis in the last 12 months on that. I think Vossi and a couple of others, the coaches have been huge on that, like reconnecting the club again. And we'd always have, every Tuesday we'd have like a team breakfast, so everyone, all the department comes together and plays and staff, and just have a brekkie together at the club. And we'd often get some past players to come back and just share their stories, say good day to them, and it's just reconnecting Carlton again. And I think it's been a little thing, but also a really big thing that, once you play at Carlton, you should feel like you're always at Carlton. And I think this year has taken some big steps in getting that back.
Yeah, I think it's a little thing for maybe you guys, but it's the on-flow effect of what that has on like people that are actually a part of it is incredible. You feel, really special, and that's why you know that there is something really cool going on. I heard Cripper speak a couple weeks ago. He was in the studio and he was talking about, we're just talking about something, I can't remember what it was, but he was talking about how Vossi, he's one of the most motivating coach, just the way he talks and like his pre-games and stuff. Like, give us an insight into what that day's like, because we've all sat in those meetings of any coach and you can run through a fucking brick wall. And I was like the crib, like, oh mate, I've heard those ones before. He goes, nah, like these are like, this is Michael Voss.
Yeah. So usually is, as you know, a few people know. So you have your captain's run. So you play on a Saturday. Your captain's run's on your Friday. So you have a run around. You do your line meeting. Then you always finish with the senior coach meeting. And those ones are it's just another level, mate. It's hard to describe, but he's just got a way of articulating words that I've never seen before, and his ability to inspire. Like, there is literally a running gag. As soon as everyone walks out the door, it's like, has anyone seen the brick wall? Like, we need to run through it. Like, that's literally everyone says. You seen that brick wall, mate? I need to run through it. His ability just to connect everyone, make you feel part of something bigger than yourself, inspire. It's amazing, and he's obviously done a lot of work on that type of stuff, and it really shows. And we're super lucky to have Vossi, and there's pretty motivating speeches for sure.
Yeah, apparently, Vossi said that after every chat. He knows he's hit the mark because like everyone will walk out of the room. Then Charlie comes up to him and says like, well done, mate. That was good.
Exactly right. Sometimes you're just waiting around for Charlie to come and get around him, but he doesn't, so he knows he's missed. It's pretty funny. That's very true. It's a good gauge.
What's on outside of footy, mate? Like you've got a lot on. You're a busy man. Obviously, you are very committed to that. But are you looking at doing anything outside of footy at the moment? Like what's the goals? Have you got any other interests?
Yeah, so I started uni this year. Yeah. Applied business at La Trobe, so. That was something that's been a challenge, I guess. Yeah, was never great at school, mate, but I wanted to redeem myself a little bit, which hasn't happened yet. But that's been kind of something to do in the background that I enjoy. Other stuff, I guess, like anyone, enjoy other sports like NFL, basketball, and watching a bit of that stuff. And playing around, just spoke about before, playing around with maybe a little bit of a podcast idea. If Producey will have us, maybe,
with
mate.
you and Ben?
Yeah, with me and Ben, sorry. Yeah, so that'll be interesting. But, other than that, mate, obviously hanging around with friends and family. And as we've spoken about, you're pretty invested in what you do. And you haven't got a heap of time. But, there's a few things I don't mind doing.
Have you got any goals for next year? Like, do you, and I can imagine, and respectfully if you don't want to share them, but do you put down goals that if you say them out loud, they might sound weird, but like, have you got shit in there that obviously team success is the number one, and that's obvious. But is there stuff in your head that you're like, I want to achieve this?
Yeah, I'll share this. So in just first day of 2021, everyone makes their goals for the year and stuff. And from a footy point of view, I remember I just wrote down on a bit of paper, make All Australian 2021, and thinking that was this big thing. And as soon as you get that, then it'll be awesome. And not to take the shine off the award or anything, but later on that year, I was lucky enough to be All Australian, and I think back like that it was cool, but it wasn't life changing. So then, from that point of view, that point on, I thought being competitive and as an athlete, you're always looking for the next one. So putting like a certain goal on a bit of paper, if you achieve that, it's always like, all right, what's next, kind of thing. So I learned for myself like that. This is just for me, right? So I learned that. Having more of a day-by-day goal in terms of, all right, I want to get better at this. I want to make sure I'm always doing something to improve day by day, and falling in love with the process of it more than the outcome was like really big learning for me. So, as I said, if you're purely outcome-based, like you get to that outcome, it's like, all right, that was cool, but what's next? So attaching myself more to the process of it all, something I really love, and that's my goal, just be consistent in my process. Yeah.
It's a great answer.
Thanks,
Darcy,
man.
Darcy liked that one. Mate, it's been incredible. I've really, really enjoyed today. It's been a phenomenal chat. Mate, I'm just so proud of you. You've done so well. Still got so much footy ahead of you. I don't reckon any young guy could, but just the way you articulate and your journey and what you've learned about yourself and how honest you are with where you've been and where you're going, it's really, really admirable. I'd literally think that any kid coming through the draft this year, or anyone that even just wants to get the best out of himself, should be listening to your story, because it's genuinely exciting, mate. So I'm really, really pumped for I'm going to run through a brick wall now. I think I'm ready to go. Really excited for your next 7 years and beyond, and I'm really lucky to call you a friend. So thank you for coming on the show.
No worries, mate. Thank you very much. Appreciate it.